These women didn't just sing country music in the 1990s, they completely took over. While male superstars like Garth Brooks were breaking every sales record in the book, female artists were rewriting the rules entirely. From Shania Twain, a Canadian teenager who had never heard of Nashville, to a 13-year-old who fished a demo tape out of the trash. These female artists rewrote the rules of country music and honestly rewrote the rules of the entire music industry while they were at it. The 1990s became the decade when women almost shared the exact same spotlight as their male counterparts in country music, and that was not an accident. These artists grew up listening to the no-holds-barred songs of Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline, Kitty Wells, and Tammy Wynette, legends who had paved their own paths to the Grand Ole Opry stage. They grabbed that foundation, added their own fire, and flooded the FM airwaves with songs of independence and anthems of empowerment. As Loretta Lynn herself put it, laughing, "How could anyone ever say it's a man's world? Hey, a woman's got it by the tail." So let's talk about the queens who made that happen. You can't start this conversation without Shania Twain. This woman sold over 100 million records worldwide, making her the best-selling female artist in country music history. Her 1997 album, Come On Over, stands as the best-selling country album of all time, the best-selling studio album by a woman ever, and one of the best-selling albums in any genre, with over 40 million copies worldwide. 10 songs from that single album charted in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. 10 songs from one album. That had literally never happened before. But here's what makes her story even more incredible. When Shania first signed to Mercury Records Nashville in 1992, her self-titled debut barely made a ripple. What changed everything was a partnership with rock producer Mutt Lange, the producer behind AC/DC and Def Leppard. They fell in love, got married, and he poured $700,000 into producing The Woman in Me, reportedly making it the most expensive country album ever recorded at the time. And it paid off spectacularly. That album exploded, and Come On Over cemented her as a global phenomenon with RIAA Diamond certification. She's the only female artist to have 3 consecutive albums each, sell more than 10 million copies in the United States. As Rachel Whitney from Pandora said, Shania pioneered what pop country meant in the 1990s. Taylor Swift thanked Twain on TikTok for eradicating the misconception that country girls cannot go to pop. Then there's Faith Hill, who stepped onto the scene in October 1993 with Take Me As I Am. Her single Wild One stayed at number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart for 4 consecutive weeks, making her the first female country artist in 30 years to pull that off. That's how you make an entrance. She followed it with It Matters to Me in 1995, certified 4 times platinum. But the real explosion came with Faith in 1998 and Breathe in 1999. Those 2 albums sold a combined 25 million copies internationally. 5 Grammy Awards, 15 Academy of Country Music Awards. A storybook marriage to Tim McGraw in 1996 made both their stars rise even higher. Faith Hill wasn't just a country star, she was a crossover supernova. Now, if we're talking about pure dominance, we have to talk about Reba McEntire. The queen of country music had already been reigning since the 80s, and she carried that crown right through the 90s with authority. 35 career number 1 singles on the country charts, over 58 million albums sold worldwide. She holds the record for the most top 10 hits by any female country artist ever, and she accomplished all of this while staying fiercely traditional about her sound. She once said she would really like things more country. She did not want orchestra and violins. She wanted a steel guitar and a fiddle. Reba went back to her teachers, Dolly, Loretta, and Tammy Wynette, and built on their wisdom. And she did it through unimaginable tragedy. In March 1991, Reba lost 8 of her band members in a plane crash in San Diego. That devastating loss led to For My Broken Heart, which became her highest-selling album to date. She turned grief into art, and the world responded. Speaking of turning something unexpected into magic, LeAnn Rimes. She was just 13 years old when Blue dropped in July 1996. But here's the wild part, she actually recorded the song when she was 11. Her father thought the demo sounded too old-fashioned and literally threw it in the trash. LeAnn fished it out and recorded it anyway, just to spite him. That act of teenage defiance launched a career that would produce over 48 million records sold worldwide. She won the Grammy for Best New Artist at just 14, becoming the youngest winner in that category ever. Her crossover hit, How Do I Live, became one of the best-selling singles of the entire decade. The Chicks, originally the Dixie Chicks, are the highest-selling female group in any genre. Let that sink in. Any genre. Their 1998 album, Wide Open Spaces, sold 12 million copies and earned Diamond certification from the RIAA. In that single year, the Chicks sold more CDs than all other country music groups combined. Their follow-up, Fly, moved another 10 million. They are the only country group in history, and the only female group of any genre, to earn back-to-back Diamond certifications, 13 Grammy Awards. The trio of Natalie Maines, Marty McGuire, and Emily Robinson was absolutely unstoppable. Martina McBride brought something different to the table, pure vocal power wrapped in songs that mattered. Her 1994 anthem, Independence Day, which told the story of domestic violence through the eyes of a child, won CMA Song of the Year and earned multiple Grammy nominations. She tapped into a current of feminism running through 90s country that made people sit up and pay attention. Mary Chapin Carpenter was an anomaly, raised in the North, politically liberal, and largely influenced by folk music. But her album Come On Come On in 1992 went quadruple platinum and spawned 7 singles on the Billboard country charts. She won 4 consecutive Grammys for Best Female Country Vocal Performance between 1992 and 1995. 4 in a row. Nobody else was doing that. And we can't forget Trisha Yearwood, who ruled the airwaves in 1991 with She's in Love with the Boy. Terry Clark kicked down doors with her debut in 1995. Jo Dee Messina scored 3 #1 hits from a single album in 1998. Winona Judd stepped out from the Judds to forge her own solo path. Deanna Carter asked the question every woman was thinking, did I shave my legs for this? And Patty Loveless carried the torch for traditional country with a voice that could break your heart clean in two. As country singer Carly Pearce said about this era, every time you turned on the radio, these women owned. They were so different, yet represented women who embraced and wrote about what they were going through. Fans saw women dreaming up their own narratives and directing the conversation themselves. That's exactly what happened, and the ripple effects are still being felt today. Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves, Taylor Swift, and Lainey Wilson, who just won her 4th consecutive Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMA Awards. All of them trace their roots back to these 1990s trailblazers. The 1990s weren't just a good decade for women in country music. They were the decade that proved, once and for all, that women didn't just belong in this genre, they could run it.